Welcome students. Today we are going to discuss the Henry Fayol's principles of management. In my last video, we have discussed the 7 principles of management, that is division of work, authority and responsibility, discipline, unity of command, unity of direction, subordination of individual interest into general interest, and remuneration of employee. Today in this session we will be discussing the remaining 7 principles of management, that is centralization and decentralization, scalar chain, order, equity, stability of personnel, initiative, and the last one is esprit de corps. Let us discuss in detail one by one. The first one is centralization and decentralization. Now, centralization means retention of authority at the top level of management, meaning all decisions are taken by the top management only, be it a big decision or a small routine decision. All decisions are taken by the top level of management. And decentralization of authority means delegation of authority at all levels of organization. You give the desired level of authority to all the 3 levels of management. That means top level is only going to retain the authority to frame broad objectives and goals of the organization, for framing the policies of the organization. Middle level is to have the authority for translation of those objectives and goals into the work which is required to be done, and supervisory level of management also have the required level of authority. Now in any organization there shouldn't be complete centralization or decentralization. Fayol says that organization should have a balance between complete centralization and decentralization. Next comes the scalar chain. This is a chain of authority and communication. It runs from top to bottom. As you can see in figure given on screen, so here it runs from A to bottom, that is D and G. What exactly is this? There is a scalar chain. If D has to communicate with someone who is also at the bottom but on the opposite side, that is G, he will have to communicate. He will have to communicate in that manner, that is, he will go to C, then C will go to B, then B will go to A. Now A will go back to E, then F and G. This is how the communication happens. So this is what scalar chain is all about. Why we need to follow this? Because it ensures there is a smooth flow of communication. Now suppose D wants some work should be done by the G. If he would have gone directly, the chances are then that C, who is the immediate superior of D, and F, who is the immediate superior of G, doesn't have an idea what's happening, and because of this lack of communication there should be conflicts. So the scalar chain ensure that there is a smooth flow of communication and unity of command is followed in the organization. Again, it avoids any kind of confusion and dual subordination. What would be the effect when it is not followed? There would be multiplicity of command and there would be lack of clarity and there could be miscommunication. But in an emergency, situation when D wants to contact G, he breaks the chain and directly contact to G. That time, that situation is termed as gangplank. This is the situation of emergency where it was forceful for D, or he is abide by the nature as to go to G and communicate directly. At that time he breaks the scalar chain. Next is order. Now what does this principle says? That you should orderly arrange the man and the material in the organization. Why that is required? Because there has to be place for everything. If in an organization, if there is no place for any kind of material that has been there or man, it would lead to affecting the work of an organization on an overall basis. The positive effect of this principle is it reduces the time wastage. It increased efficiency and productivity. What if it is not implemented? There would be wastage of time and unnecessary efforts taken by the employees. Then comes equity. Fayol said that you need to give share in profit to the workers also. Just like Taylor, even he believes in that, so he emphasized on the kindliness and justice in the behavior of the manager or in the behavior of the management overall towards the worker. So, what he said, when you are providing equity, that means when you are giving percentage of share to the employees, so it brings loyalty and devotion in the organization. So, the positive effects of bringing in equity is that you are bringing loyalty, you are ensuring the cordial relationship and the congenial atmosphere. What if it is not implemented? There could be poor relations and there could be dissatisfaction among workers. Next is stability of personnel. There should be stability of employees. There would be lesser employees turnover. Whenever you are selecting an employee, it should be selected and appointed after due and the rigorous procedure. There has to be a proper test which need to be conducted so that the proper and the efficient employee is selected. Now, once selected, they should be kept on the post for the fixed tenure. It shouldn't happen that the moment they join the organization, suddenly their duties are changed, suddenly the job descriptions for which they were recruited or appointed would change, because that leads to problem. The positive effect would be it brings job security, it will increase motivation, and in turn reduces employee turnover. Initiative. It says that employees should take initiative without force. It should come from within. They should be ready to take certain initiative on their behalf so that the goals of organizations are achieved. The managers should encourage employees to take such initiatives and develop and carry out plans for improvement. If a worker comes to the manager suggesting any kind of plan for improving the technology, if the manager feels it right, he should encourage the initiative of worker and tell him to implement the same. last principle is esprit de corps. Now, it is a French word. It says union is strength. You always have heard this saying that united we stand and divided we fall. So, this is what the principle is all about. So, it says that employee should consider himself a part of team. It should not happen each and every employee considered him separate from the team or organization itself. Here the emphasis is replacing I with we. So, it should be we, it should not be I. It will help in developing feeling of trust and belongingness to the organization, and it ultimately facilitate the achievements of goals. Here we conclude our today's session. Thank you.